And now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 490th edition of TSR Live. It is Wednesday, July 17, 2019. We are streaming live to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So however you are watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe reality a part of your daily routine. Well, today's topic was submitted by Durante M. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So a special thanks goes out to Durante M for this submission. Now, the article that Durante sent me is entitled, let me bring this up here quickly. The name of the article is entitled, "I'm Exhausted. I'm bored being married to Mr. Perfect. I wish he would cheat so I could feel better about myself." It was published about a month ago by a Claire O'Reilly, who is a 40-year-old woman married to a 46-year-old man named John. Been married for 13 years, been together for 17 years total. Now, right off the bat, she's already given herself away as a wife who's cheated on her husband. Gentlemen, it is plainly obvious. I am damn near 100% certain that she has, on more than one occasion, cheated on her husband. People who feel guilty for getting away with certain things always secretly wish that karma, which, by the way, there's no such thing as, but karma would come in and, come into play and right all their wrongs and bring balance back to the universe. Perfectly normal feeling, just like it's perfectly normal to want whatever balance comes your way to be the type of balance that's on the same level as you wrong. So, for example, if you stole $10 from somebody and you got away with it and you felt guilty, you'd wish that somebody would steal $10 from you. Or if you accidentally dented someone's car when you opened your door at the grocery store, you'd wish that maybe the same thing would happen to you. Simple math. But what you wouldn't wish for is someone to steal your life savings because you got away with stealing $10 from somebody else. You wouldn't want someone to rear end you at 50 miles an hour to right the wrong of a small dent caused by your door. This woman said, "I wish he'd cheat so I can feel better about myself," and literally gave away the fact that she cheated on her husband. It would be different if she got away with buying things without his permission, or if she told little white lies about this or that, or if she said she cleaned the oven when she really hired somebody else to do it. Just little stuff like that. No. This woman goes all the way and says that she wished that he would cheat on her to make her feel better about herself. Now, she's doing this because she cheated on her husband multiple times. No woman has ever said, "I'm such a lazy wife. I never clean up. I'm bad at laundry, and I never iron his clothes. Gee, I'd wish he'd cheat on me to make me feel better about the fact that I'm a lazy homemaker." No. She'd wish that he were more of a slob or left his clothes on the floor. So right out of the gate, she's already revealed to us, to those in the know, that she is a cheating wife. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now that we've already accurately dissected at least the title, it says, quote, most single women are searching for Mr. Perfect, right? But maybe a little imperfection is better. Writer Claire O'Reilly, 40, from Plymouth, is married John, 46, 13 years ago, but he has not put a foot on the wrong side since. Today, in a startlingly honest piece, Claire realizes why she is frustrated being married to Mr. Perfect. Hang on. There we go. I had to turn the fan toward me, man. I'm over here getting ready to heat to death. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, scroll down here. She begins, quote, "I should have gotten an inkling of my husband's perfect moral fiber when we were dating back in 2002. I called in sick to work," she says, planning to surprise him as he worked from home. However, when I turned up with the thoughts of a long, lazy romantic lunch, he refused to ditch his responsibilities, even though we were supposed to be in the first throes of love. I married Mr. Perfect anyway. But his ridiculous moral compass has come to be a bone of contention. Simply put, I'm bored of being married to a paragon of virtue. He is so unlike me, it's disarming, but turns out I'm not alone. New research from the University of Amsterdam has found while it's beneficial in Mother Nature for species to be similar, it is not as straightforward when it comes to humans. So she says, I married Mr. Perfect anyway. When she says she married him anyway, she is telling us in no uncertain terms that men with strong moral fiber are not arousing to her. Guys, she is not sexually attracted to her husband anymore. She was when they first met. But as soon as he told her, I will not cancel my plans to spend an afternoon eating food and having sex with you because I am a man of my word and my word is my bond. No, she married him anyway, which says that she didn't want to because he is attractive rather than arousing. Remember the difference? We talked about that last week. But because he was attractive and listen, she took the plunge anyway, knowing full well she'd be cheating on him before the ink dried on their marriage certificate. She knew that she would achieve alpha fucks, beta bucks. Then she says, I'm bored being married to a paragon of virtue. Guys, this just goes to show that what women say they want and what they actually want are two very, very different things. Every woman says they want to be married to a paragon of virtue because it makes them look like paragons of virtue. Like attracts like, right? She can't say, well, I want the tatted up underground boxer with a criminal record who may or may not have a warrant for his arrest, because that makes her look like a virtueless slut. So to save face, they say they want a man who's honest. To save face, they say they want a man who's virtuous. They say they want a man who has great moral character and fiber. They don't really want that. At least not as long as they can still attract those bad boys. They only become attracted to these boring paragons of virtue when they run out of options, just like Sheryl Sandberg so accurately predicts in her advice to young women when it comes to their dating lives. Then she talks about this study at the University of Amsterdam about species. And listen, this is the non-factor. Yes, species being similar benefits Mother Nature, but the difference between humans and every other species is we as humans, we have the ability to reason. The fact that this Amsterdam study didn't scrap the whole thing for that very reason just goes to show that this was a useless study by useless people. But for the sake of argument, let's take a look at what the study revealed, shall we? The study, she says, looked at the personality traits of 4,464 couples and found agreeableness, a trait associated with trust and empathy, in both partners is vital for a relationship to succeed. But researchers also found that when one partner is contentious, the coupling can actually work better if the other is less so. I think conscientious. I said contentious. Conscientious. That's me being illiterate. Anyway, which may go some way in explaining why John and I have lasted so long. After a small prang in the car a few years ago, our insurance company informed us that we were entitled to sue the other driver for injuries amounting to around 6,000 British pounds. As neither one of us was injured, John refused to take on the elderly driver despite the figures at play because it would be dishonest. It's not just big issues either. I am the queen, she says, of the last-minute cancellation, thinking nothing of scrapping dinner arrangements with friends just hours before we are due, whereas John sticks to his commitment. Let's go back to what she says about opposites. She says when one partner is conscientious, the coupling can actually work better if the other is less. So, one thing we preach here in the Manosphere is that relationships should have polarity. In other words, if you have too much in common, as far as personality traits and habits goes with your significant other, it's not going to work as well as if you have traits that are diametrically opposed to one another. I'll give you the perfect example. Devin and I. Listen, Devin and I could not be more different. I'm an extrovert. She's an introvert. She's laid back. I'm intense. I am freakishly disciplined. She is freakishly not. I'm an early riser. She likes to sleep in. I like to talk. She likes to listen. Guys, we could not be more different as people, but we work because of the polarity. If she were as intense and as socially dominant as I was, we wouldn't work because we're too much alike. We'd probably fight a lot. We'd probably yell and scream all the time. It just wouldn't work. Well, same as on the other end. If I were as docile and laid back and like to sleep in like she did, nothing would ever get done. Ever. We'd be as boring a couple as they come, and we'd bore each other to death. That wouldn't work either. Then she says she is the queen of the last minute cancellation. Devin's the same way, right? Now, in a different vein, she'll offer to do something or go somewhere to be nice. But when these people actually take her up on it and the time comes to do what she said she was going to do, she has a tendency to want to back out. I do not let her do that. Okay. She's actually got a friend right now going through a really bad breakup. And her friend and hers, actually a story I told last week. There's a friend of her at work. She was engaged to be married She was with this guy for 8 years. Her best friend stole her fiance. And now her best friend lives with her ex-fiance in their house. They've got animals, and she's afraid that they're not being taken care of, right? So now she's afraid that she might have to rehome her pets. Well, Devin told her she might be able to do it, but I said, no, Devin, don't tell people you're going to do something if you're not willing to do it. She said, well, I was just doing it to be nice. Yeah, but when they take you up on it, then what happens? Now, this isn't as much about lack of moral fiber as it is about women wanting to be nice and ease someone's burden or pain, someone they care about, or saying whatever they have to make someone else feel better right then and there. This isn't a bad thing morally, right? Devin just wants to help. But by the same token, if you know you're not going to be able to do something, then do not commit to it. Devin is selfless to a fault, and it gets her in trouble a lot. But the point is that being the queen of the last minute cancellation, that is indicative of the female gender as a whole. This is just what they do. Men stick to their word, women do not. women don't. So in this regard, there's nothing unique or special about either one of them. Let's continue. Don't get me wrong, she continues. I love him, and this year we celebrated 17 years together, 13 of them married. But I'd wish he'd lie, cheat, defame, or slander me just once, so I could feel better about my less than perfect character. While the Amsterdam research didn't define the term moral incompatibility, if it exists, we definitely have it. The research also found that compatibility isn't an all or nothing state. This is where I disagree with this study. It says couples who are both early risers or both night owls tend to have longer relationships than those with opposing bedtime routines. So far, so obvious. But the study also found that we look for personality traits in a spouse or a partner we don't possess. For example, being an extrovert. This is what I do agree with. While John is quiet and unassuming, she says, I'm the extrovert. He definitely made up all the traits I'm missing entirely. His moral compass will follow him into the grave, but no one will eulogize about my fair nature or loyal friendship. Oh boy, again. This, quote, less than perfect character, this doesn't rise to infidelity. Unless, of course, that less than perfect character involves, I don't know, infidelity. I love how she's admitting to us that she cheated, but not actually calling it cheating. When she says feel better about my less than perfect character, she is saying to us, I wish he would cheat so I could feel better about cheating. And so I know that other women want to fuck him. Because as we all know in the book of Red Pill 101, it says that women don't want men that other women don't want. This guy's moral fiber is not only a turnoff to her, it is a turnoff to everyone he knows with a vagina, guys. Let's go to this extrovert-introvert thing, guys. She's the extrovert, and he is the introvert, which is bad on all fronts. Women who are extroverted, and we talked about this on the Red Man group a couple weeks back. Women who are extroverted are far more likely to cheat. Did I see this in a study or some survey? Nope. But I know this is true, and the reason is obvious. Stay with me, guys. Women who are extroverted naturally draw more attention to themselves, either directly, indirectly, intentionally, or unintentionally, though we know that women are extroverted to intentionally get attention. When a woman draws more attention to themselves, they get more attention from men. We here in the manosphere know that women lack impulse control with every conceivable vice there is, not the least of which is men. So the more attention a woman gets from men, the more opportunities she'll get to step out on her husband. And most of the time, these women, again, lacking impulse control, will yield to temptation far more often than not, as a simple byproduct of more opportunities being afforded them by their outgoing and extroverted personalities. This is why I always stress to men, If you are looking for that significant other who is the least likely to step out on you, look for the introverted girl. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I know there's probably guys in the chat, well, introverted girls cheat too. Listen, this isn't to say that introverted girls aren't capable of cheating, right? I'm not saying that introverted girls are not capable of ruining your life. Listen, if anything, introverted girls are better at cheating because they're better at doing it on the sly. They don't wear their emotions on their sleeves like extroverts do. But guys, nothing is guaranteed. And because of that, as men, we simply have to play the odds. And the bottom line is that extroverted girls are more likely to cheat because they create more opportunities because of their personalities. Again, not saying that introverted girls don't cheat, because they do. But they're less likely to because they don't get as many opportunity as the girl who commands attention wherever he goes. And by the way, women are never eulogized about their fair nature and loyal friendship. Gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, women are not loyal creatures. They're just not. That doesn't necessarily make them bad. And that, of course, is a topic for another day and time. But women have many good traits that want us to keep them around. Loyalty is not one of them. Fairness is definitely not one of them. If that's what you're looking for in a woman, if you're looking for a woman who's going to be loyal and fair, you're never going to find her. Keep that in the front of your mind. This afternoon at 5 Eastern, I'm releasing episode 11 from the archive. This one deals with the cougar myth. Having had a lot of experience with women in their late 30s, early 40s, the kinds of females we like to call MILFs or hot moms, I decided to do a podcast episode way back in the day. Most men have no idea what it's like to date women like this, right? When they do, they find themselves sorely disappointed when they start dating older women because, oh my God, they're nothing like what they expected, right? They expected MILFs to look and act exactly the way they do in porn, and that is simply not the case, guys. You got these 25-year-old girls who look like they're 35 because they've been doing porn for 5 years. Okay, well, she's still got a nice body, but her face looks kind of old. We'll put her in the MILF category, but she's only 25. Yeah, she looks 35. So make sure you guys check that out this afternoon at 5 Eastern on patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. You can also get access to the podcast versions of these episodes, which means you can listen to them straight through without any commentary. It is just the good stuff, as well as access to my weekly call-in show, Sunday afternoons at 5 Eastern. So go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe now to sign up. If you are watching on Facebook or Twitter, this is the end of the road for you, but you can watch the rest of the show on YouTube. Just search Donovan Sharpe, subscribe, hit the bell, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching on Facebook and Twitter. We will see you guys on the YouTube side in just a few. Let's go to the next section here. I haven't stayed friends, she says, with anyone from school, while John's tight-knit circle has been the same since he was 10. They are godfathers to our kids, Eddie, 15, Sammy, 10, and Annie, 8. But it is not just his general decency that's hard to stomach. He's a better spouse than I am. If I told him on Friday I was spending Saturday chilling at the spa, he'd probably drop me there so I didn't have to drive, then take the kids to their clubs before making sure the house was tidy. Just last week, she says, he went out with a friend for a long-planned pint, which is a drink, and I was in a foul mood before he went because I had to put the washing away and make the kids packed lunches. So let's go back to what she said about she hasn't stayed friends with anyone from school. I say this all the time, guys, and I get disagreement on all fronts, but this is the proof. Guys, women aren't really friends with one another, guys. Females simply tolerate each other so long as there is a benefit to being associated with the other person. Women hate each other because they know each other. Yesterday, I talked about the fact that you need to hire a female divorce attorney because women know each other. It's the same thing. Familiarity breeds contempt. Women know that they themselves are not virtuous creatures. Women know that they are not loyal creatures. So when they become friends with one another, they never really expect to be friends with them for that long because they know that betrayal, lying, or any number of things will probably happen that are directly related to the female id, none of which are conducive to a lifelong friendship. Most women have friends for maybe a maximum of 3 to 5 years. Every 3 to 5 years, their friendships turn over, their group of friends turn over, and they get a new group of friends. This is just how they are. And because of this, women are rarely lifelong friends. Men are completely the opposite. You guys know this. Unless you were raised on military bases like I was, most men have friends that are, they're friends with each other until they're in the grave. Let's take a look at this drive me to the spa. She says, if I told him on Friday I was spending Saturday chilling at the spa, he'd probably drop me there so I didn't have to drive, then take the kids to their clubs before making sure the house was tidy. This was oddly specific, gentlemen, as in this has happened before, as in she has cheated using this very technique. And I'll tell you how I know. I'll tell you how this happened. On Friday, she and Kevin in sales, who she has been flirting with and sleeping with, planned an afternoon fuckfest on Saturday afternoon. So she told her husband, John, that she was spending Saturday chilling at the spa. Now, he dropped her off at the spa, not because he didn't want her to drive or to be a good husband. Oh, no. It was because she asked him to drop her off. Now, why would she do that, Donovan? Because if she doesn't have a car, he can't know where she is. This is next level game, gentlemen. If he sees her car at the spa, he could go into the spa and see that she's not there, and then the jig is up. He now knows that she is somewhere she shouldn't be, and there is no explanation for her whereabouts except for the truth, which is with Kevin getting her back blown out. Women can't help themselves, guys. Women who aren't BPD or dark triad, which is 99.9% of women, always reveal the truth one way or the other. They try their damnedest to hide it. They try their damnedest to hide the truth, but their hard drives just don't know how to completely hide it. They have to leave breadcrumbs in there somewhere. This woman could have used any scenario. She wrote an article. She wasn't live on the air. She wrote an article. And the only make-believe scenario that she could come up with was this one. And the reason we know it's this one is because of how specific she was. Then that last paragraph about the long planned drink with his buddy pissing her off. Guys, that just shows the typical selfishness that women exist, even when their husbands deserve to blow off steam as a result of making sure that she could have a relaxing afternoon with Kevin. Guys, it's never enough for women. No matter how much you do for women of poor quality, it is never enough for them. They always want more. This dude drove her to the spa, took the kids to their clubs, made sure she had a clean house to come home to, so she could wash Kevin off and out of her, but she's still salty about him going out and having a drink with his buddies. This is how terrible women are, guys. Let's move on. His selfishness. He is selfless, to the same degree that I'm selfish, which according to the research can sometimes work. The worst part is that I'm constantly around a level of virtue that is completely unattainable in my own life. By doing absolutely nothing other than being himself, John constantly makes me look at where I'm falling short and what I'm doing wrong without so much of an utterance. It is infuriating. I know I'm fortunate to have such a decent, giving, and kind chap, but it is honestly exhausting being married to someone whose moral fiber is so perfect. Guys, this research is bullshit. 100% bullshit, guys. 100%. She's trying to give herself permission to do all of the taking while she does all of the giving so she doesn't feel guilty about it. Listen, I said earlier that Devin is selfless to a fault, especially with me. Devin gives me the world. She never asks me for anything. Devin has asked me for one thing. In 3 years of knowing her, in almost 2 years of a relationship together, she's asked me for one thing. It was a cat. She wanted a cat for Christmas. I said, you know what? Let's get you a cat. Other than that, she never asks me for anything. Now, let's be clear here. The reason she gives me her all and never asks for anything in return is because she does get a lot of indirect benefits of being with me. Standard operating procedure. I pay all the bills, which allows us to put her entire check in savings, so there's the financial benefit there. I keep her in line, which keeps her happy and relaxed most of the time, because keeping a woman in line can get stressful for both parties at times. But by and large, having a man who puts his foot down, it actually relaxes a woman. I am capable of physically protecting her. I invest in her financially by getting her a personal trainer to keep her body tight. I also buy her HGA to preserve her great genetics. And of course, I offer her companionship. Devin and I, we laugh together. We have a good time together. We have good conversation. We watch movies. We go on dates. All of these things are important to all women, and Devin gets all of these benefits because she has my commitment. But make no mistake, guys, Devin wouldn't be doing all of these things for me. She wouldn't be this good to me if she didn't get anything in return. Just because someone is selfish doesn't mean that they don't want or need a return on investment. Now, a woman of quality, she will never keep score. They'll never say, well, I did this for you, so you have to do this for me. But that doesn't mean they'll stick around if they're doing all the giving and they're not getting anything in return. They're not going to stick around if she's doing all the giving and you're doing all the taking. This chick is using research, okay, that this can sometimes work to tamp down that anxiety that comes with knowing that she's with a man she knows she doesn't deserve. She hopes against all hope that he doesn't just one day wake up and figure it out. Then she says that it's infuriating that he makes her look at where she's falling short and what she's doing wrong simply by being himself? What? So let me get this straight. You are morally bankrupt, are a bad wife and mother, while he is a great father and husband, and you're pissed off at him for making you actually think about your frailties by simply existing? This is how women are, guys. This chick is mad that her husband is such a good man, okay? The fact that she is mad that her husband is this good man, it highlights her failures as women, and she indirectly blames it on him, and it causes her to secretly resent him. So much so that she has had affairs, plural, in the past and present. What this comes down to, guys...
Donovan Sharpe.
Oh, there we are. What this comes down to, guys, is a woman who is complaining that she has a good man. And that's just laughable, man. We've got females, we've got women the world over who constantly bitch. They constantly moan about this and that, right? Men ain't shit. Where have all the good men gone? Blah, 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 blah. And here's a woman who lucked out and locked down a good man, but she is complaining about him. Women always talk about, I wish I had a man who was honest. I wish I had a man that wouldn't cheat. I wish I had a man of high moral character and fiber. But when they actually get with one, they complain. Typical female. Guys, this article is the quintessential example of a typical Western female. She says she wants one thing when she really wants another. The reason she wants her husband to cheat is because she has cheated. She wants him to be immoral in some way because she knows she's immoral to the core. She wants him to wrong her in some way because she knows she has wronged him in many ways. She knows she is lucky to be with a man of higher value who doesn't realize just how much higher his value is than hers. And that's exactly what upsets her, guys. And it's the same reason why sluts always treat you like garbage when you treat them well. Like this woman, this Claire O'Reilly, women who sleep around and know they're not worth committing to. They know that they're good for nothing but sex. They know this. So when a man comes along and shows an ineptitude in not only recognizing that she's not worth committing to, but also makes the egregious mistake of treating her like a woman of quality, they resent him. They resent him because they're thinking subconsciously, how the hell can this dude not know I'm worthless? I've got a tramp stamp with my ex's name on it. I told him I've had 2 abortions, and I cheated on my ex-husband with him. How can he not know I'm worth committing to? Well, what happens is that these thoughts manifest themselves through bad behavior, such as nonstop unpassable shit testing, disrespectful behavior, and of course, cheating. Women of low quality punish men for not recognizing that they're low quality. And that is the answer to the $1 million question everybody asks, why is it that the better I treat women, the worse they treat me? You guys need to bookmark this article and read it once a month to drill into your heads that low quality women do not want men who are quiet and unassuming. They do not want men of high moral character. They do not want men that they define as good men. They don't want them. No. These damaged women, they want men who are over the top, socially dominant douchebags who disrespect them, who cheat on them, give them anxiety, and fuck their friends. They'll tell people that this isn't what they want, and they'll complain about it all they want. But when you see that man like this, when you see these douchebags who always get her best, you start to wonder, well, why is it that she says she hates players, but they always seem to have her attention? Why do they always get texted back immediately? Why does she let these guys stick around for so long when they treat her like absolute dog shit? Well, the simple answer is that she knows that she is not a woman of quality. Women of quality reward good behavior. Females of low quality punish it. Claire O'Reilly, gentlemen, is doing what every woman who's been passed around does when they get lucky and lock down a man of value. They complain that he's just too good a man and act as though it's some sort of problem and that it's his fault. Anytime a woman complains about her man being too perfect and being bored with it, it is a dead giveaway that she's got a notch count into the triple digits. Because good women simply do not complain about good men, and that is all there is to it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.